our return to US politics. We haven't actually discussed it for a couple of months. It's actually been kind of nice, actually.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that, because we did do a lot of coverage of Trump, etc., but it was good that we took a breather there for a while after Biden got in. But, Biden's now clocked up his first 100 days, done his... that speech to Congress the other day in a nice socially distant chamber and all that. And I think it's interesting because, again, the news cycle, to tie it back into that, has to inevitably come back to how does his first 100 days compare to Trump's first 100 days? What's he been doing? What was Trump doing? And I think it just... if there was anything that I would say is that maybe just those 100 days were an indicator of what was to come for the following 4 years. So, Biden's, been doing his thing. I think some people have been saying that he's perhaps not as sleepy as what Trump was suggesting that he would be, in the sense that he seems to be trying to push things more through than expected for someone that maybe wasn't considered to be all that, pushy, I guess, in terms of things. But I don't know. I just get the impression that he's more of the traditional type of old school president, in the sense of you don't hear from him that much. He's not tweeting every day, and just keeping it on the level kind of thing. But at the same time, there's a little bit of throwing as much at the wall as possible while I guess they've got control of Congress or something. I don't know.
Oh, look, I don't know. I'm very cynical about all these things these days, and I wouldn't necessarily directly comment on whether he's being a good president or not. In fact, I'm not even interested in that anymore post-Trump. But in my cynical best, what I really sort of imagine is his marketing and comms team around the table. Joe, you got to make a splash. What's the biggest number we can come up with for a stimulus package? You got to go out there and give it, because I reckon the rest of the time he is sleeping, say, compared to Trump. And then they get him up there, and every statement he's making is big and maximum impact. The one thing I will say that I think quite genuinely he's doing well is managing the rollout of the vaccines in the US, and his message is exceptionally strong whenever he gives that message. So I guess I'm pleased to see that. I don't think Trump, with his handling of the last year of COVID, was anything to write home about at all. So I guess in a situation which the American nation is experiencing now, it's good to see some consistent and strong messaging around COVID. And I think they're actually managing their vaccine program very well. So that's probably the plus and what I take out of it. But the rest of it, to me, is just, I don't know, it's all Biden brand, as developed by his marketing team.
And just to tie it back to the whole news coverage, etc. I did have to chuckle that the CNN and MSNBC in particular were just like having all this gushing coverage over the speech, etc. And whatever he was up to and all that. And it just undercuts, like, they're trying to make themselves out to be, okay, we're trying to be fair and unbiased with the news coverage. But when you've got, like, their commentators tearing up on camera, like, they're so touched by what they're hearing. And it's just like, guys, you're really shooting yourselves in the foot if you're trying to get yourselves to be taken seriously. And you're just giving fodder to, the right-wing media to just, chew you up and spit you out if you're going to do that sort of thing. And I just don't get it. But again, there's so much about the news and the media landscape and the internet right now that just I don't get, and I don't think any rational person could get anyway.
Well, let's face it, Biden's aiming already for a second term.
In case there was any doubt.
I don't think there's any doubt at all. I think he's there. I think he looks to me to be enjoying it. I don't know. It might be whatever supplements he's using to stay young and fresh, but he looks like he's enjoying it. And I do think actually he speaks reasonably well and with a little bit of vigour. So who knows?
Absolutely. I guess the telltale sign will be to see where US politics goes over the next couple of years in the sense of the traditional, I guess, sort of, cycle of things would suggest that the Republicans would retake control of the Congress in 2 years' time, given the way the political cycles work. And if that were to happen, obviously that hit some roadblock and not much happening. If it did happen to go the other way and they still kept going, it would be interesting to see if they changed their actual course as opposed to whatever it was that they've been on in the last, not just 4 years, but probably even, 10, 15 years, really.
Yeah, very true there. I think actually the key, or the things I'm most interested in seeing what Biden achieves, is what he's doing already, I think, in terms of international dialogues. And he's actually kept them pretty low-key, or they are being reported low-key, say, compared to stimulus and, other aspects of what's going on internally in the US. So if he can, I think, manage some of the global relationships, some of the geopolitics that's out there now, then he could well be considered quite an outstanding president, but we'll have to wait and see.